Often imitated, never mother effing duplicated. It's the NFC East Super Friends in all of their splendor, but this is a head-to-head matchup. Dallas Cowboys will be traveling to Northwest Stadium to take on the Washington Commanders, and so I'll be representing the Washington Commanders, and my special guest representing America's team, yours, boys,
Jerry.
is Game Time. Brian, what's going on, GTB? What's going on with you, man?
Listen, Louis T, it's always awesome to join your super friend. This is the best. I told you when we first, like,
Yeah,
you joined me first. I reached out to
yeah,
you and
yep,
you were
that's right.
gracious,
Yep.
and it's the best. I am here ready to represent my ass Cowboys. I'm not going to run away from it,
Yeah,
people. Too many Cowboys content creators are running for the caves and
mm,
hiding. This
yeah,
is where I shine, and people need to know that this is where your shit grows.
that's right.
Go with it, deal
Yep,
with it, stand up, and let's
that's
go,
right.
Louis. Let's go.
That's
What
right.
do you got for me?
That's right. So that's part of why I wanted to have you on because I knew you were going to stand on business because you've been hypercritical of the team in areas. But the last time we spoke, you still had hope, right? You guys were going in, you
I
were coming
did.
off the
I
bye.
did.
You were going on the road on Sunday Night Football against San Francisco, and you thought you had a chance to pull the upset there and kind of turn your season around. Obviously, you haven't won a game since the bye week. You're 3-7. So just give me your thoughts before we get into anything. Give me your thoughts on what has transpired
Yeah.
post
Well,
bye with this team as you're led to four straight losses and you're
yeah.
three and
Well,
or five, I guess.
quickly.
You're 3-2 at one point.
The easy answer would be like, well, we're decimated by injury.
Mhm.
I have a lot of Eagles subscribers who like to say we were playing like crap before the injuries, and they are 100% correct. I'm not here to tell anybody that we were playing good, but Eagle fans, you were 10-1 last year. So I would say the early season narrative, you can't just stick to that. You
Mhm.
cannot stick to what week 5, how you are, how you look is what it's going to be week 17, week 18. You saw what happened, Louis. They were 10-1, and what
Mhm.
happened? The wheels fell off.
Right.
So again, we were not off to the best of starts with Dak last year or this year. But this is what happened, Louis. We decided to let go of the depth on this team. Why?
Mhm.
Because they had a soft rebuild. But oh well, injuries happen, and when you have injuries and you lose a Dorrance Armstrong, you lose a Dante Fowler, you lose many players, a
Mhm.
Jonathan Hankins who's sitting in Seattle. Um, then if you suffer any injuries at all, it is a bad recipe. It's DEFCON 1 in Dallas right now.
Mhm.
But that being said, I'm not going to run away from the fact that Mike McCarthy has coached and called plays horribly.
Mhm.
It's been I have no doubt Louis could call better plays for the Cowboys right now than Mike McCarthy. I have no doubt. But I'm not going to sit there and say, well, this and that. Nobody cares about injuries, people. Nobody cared on Thursday night last week. I think it was Thursday, where the Commanders went into Philly. They were banged up.
Mhm.
The Commanders were a team that hadn't had they still haven't had their bye week.
Mhm.
So nobody wants to, look there. We're not going to use any excuses. But the bottom line is Dallas is underachieved. It's 2015 all over again, Louis. And if you want to get into that, we can.
Mhm.
It is 2015. We won 4 games in
Yeah,
2015.
you did.
We drafted Ezekiel Elliott that
And Dak
draft.
Prescott. Mhm.
And you know what happened the next year?
13-3.
13-3, number 1 seed. Now,
Yep.
we
Mhm.
did lose. We did lose to the ultimate Super Bowl
And
champion,
champion. Yep.
the Giants, and
Yep.
I know you would know, but
Yep.
that's how I feel. Now, I don't believe that I believe this is a multi-year process, but I have a lot of my Eagle fans that are writing this off, and Eagles are like, oh, you guys are out. You're not in the mix anymore. I just want to I just want to say, Eagle fans, if anybody is in here, and then I'll let Louis get to his point, but if anybody is in here, don't wait till next year to get the job done. You're rolling now, okay? Sometimes you think that it's your time next year. Now, Eagles are playing well. You best go win it this year, right, Louis? Because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get a first place schedule, and you don't know when the injury bug is going to hit you, and that's going to derail your season. So that's where I see. I want to play hard, but I don't really want to win right now. I would like to win on Thanksgiving, Louie. I'll be honest. I would like to win that game to make my turkey taste that much better. But I don't know that we could beat Tommy Cutlets at this point. But let's break it down, brother. That's where I feel
I think that's going to be a tough game too. But
I do.
Let me ask you this before we get into our matchup on Sunday. Where do you see this organization going? Like, obviously, McCarthy's going to be fired after the season. There may be a full cleaning of the house. Dak isn't going anywhere. They signed him to the long-term deal, obviously. Where do you see the direction that they're going to head in next? Because
I got a nugget for you.
It could be really. This thing could go sideways if this offseason doesn't go well, right?
Yeah, I agree. We are known as a great. I don't know. I hate using the word great because when you hit at a 40% clip, and that's good as far as drafting goes. We're a very good drafting team. Last 2 years, not so much. Not that we haven't got pieces. We're talking Overshown was a piece. We have drafted well. At Cooper Beebe, we have drafted well. When you lose a D-Law, a Micah, a Dak, it's a laundry list. A CD, a Deron Bland who still hasn't played a freaking game. It's tough. But where I see us go, just real quick, everybody in the chat. I was at the Star last week. We were at the game, me, Mark, and a Primetime Phil, and a cast of a bunch of his subscribers. We had a great time, even though we know our team's ass right now. And we're at the Omni Frisco. If everybody knows anything about the Star in Texas, the Omni Frisco literally has a Dallas Cowboy star on the hotel. It's the Cowboys hotel. That's where all the players stayed during COVID when they had their training camp. The Omni Frisco is a Cowboy hotel right there. You got the turf field out front where they always have the live streaming games on Sunday there. You got the Star that's connected. But I ran into somebody, and listen, I just want everybody to put this in the back of their head. You heard it here first. I ran into somebody coming out of the elevator. I was getting on, none other than, and I didn't make a video about it because I don't have nothing to say regarding why he was there, but there was none other, Louie, than John Lynch, GM of the 49ers, was coming out of the elevator as I was getting on, and I wanted to get my phone out. I had my selfie stick with me, and I was out recording, but John Lynch was getting off, and I was getting on, and by the time he just looked right down, he didn't want to make eye contact, went around, got in his car, his Escalade, and drove off. What is John Lynch doing at the team hotel? I don't know. But then right after that, I hear that Steve Young is poised to take over the general manager job of the 49ers after the season. Now, I don't know if this is all, hyperbole, but you heard it here, people. I believe Jerry Jones is tired of the criticism because, Louie, I will tell you that it is a group effort, sometimes at a fault. I believe he will listen to his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator, his Will McClay, his personnel man, Stephen Jones, Cat Boy, as I like to call him. Sometimes a lot of that, like you rather have one guy sitting back making the calls rather than all these voices coming in. Oh, draft Mozzie, draft Mozzie, So stay tuned, people. I really am predicting Jerry's going to step down as general manager because
wow, that's big. That's big. And you're insinuating that it could be John Lynch.
Yes, and if it happens, you heard it here first. And I'm just here to tell you that. Why is he there, Louie? That's a team hotel. If you ever been there, or if you ever plan on going, it's the team hotel. He can stay at any place you want. Why are you there? So, and then all of a sudden you hear, oh my God, everybody's on the hot seat, John Lynch. I'm telling you, that's my call right now. Now, I don't know. If not, then we're doomed. You asked me the question. If it ain't somebody outside of Jerry Jones, we're doomed until he either retires or, God forbid, the other. So, that's where I'm at. Jerry needs to step down. He's annoyed because he knows it's a group effort. He goes to his coach. He does do that, people, to a fault. Now, listen, do I like the fact that The microphone is in Jerry Jones's. He's the first one to do a post game press conference. Is your owner making statements rather than your coach? No, that's bad. That's what's wrong with the Cowboys. He's
Yeah,
making his opinion, dude. Shut up, stay in the background, and let the
he
coaches
can't.
coach. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So, but I'm telling you now, Louis, I believe it's going to be a change. I think. I do believe Jerry's going to step down as GM, and I believe it's going to be somebody, possibly John Lynch. So I'm excited when I saw that. I'm like, me and my partner, Prime Time, are like, dude, that was John Lynch. He was
That's
dressed to the nines. I'm like, why is he here? And then we were like, I don't know. He could always scout or have his scouts out there. He's talking to Jerry about something. So I'm sorry that you heard it here, baby. Hey, Philly D, what's going on, brother? How
that
are you?
is interesting
It
stuff.
is, right? It is.
It's very interesting.
Well,
I still have a
Mike
hard
Fisher,
time.
right?
I have a hard. We say
You know Mike Fisher, right?
no. I'm not
Well,
familiar with
Mike
him.
Fisher is the local. He's the one that screwed over Law Nation. Long story, I'll tell you off air. But he's a local guy. He's been around forever. He hated YouTubers, right? Until all of a sudden now he's a YouTuber. He's like a local guy in Dallas. Well, he
Mhm.
didn't know about it, and so yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so that is what's going on, but nobody knows about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what because it's hard for me to envision Jerry giving up control. That's his thing.
Me too.
It's his baby. It's what he loves to do. He doesn't mind taking the blame and falling on the sword for things not going well. But you're right. He has been under probably the most scrutiny he's ever been under in his life this year. And you could see it kind of boiling over with his statements to the radio host. I'll get somebody else to do your job and
Exactly.
all of that stuff. So you can see it's starting to get to a point now where he's definitely extremely perturbed by everything going on. But I think that's also tied to not winning. And when you don't win, you get questioned. And one thing Jerry Jones doesn't like to be is questioned. So we'll see. I have a hard time believing he's going to relinquish control. But, he's getting old and he's getting to the point where he wants to win and he may be willing to do anything to get this team back to a place of winning before he is no longer here to see it. So you're 3-7 heading into this game. You've lost 5 in a row. This is a team that actually, it's crazy to say this. While you may not be, the healthiest on the offensive line, this may be the healthiest you've been since like week 4 or something. You might get Deron Bland back in this game. You might get your other corner,
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan
Yeah,
Lewis
yeah,
back.
yeah.
It sounds like Brandon Cooks is going to be back in this game.
Well, I got a little update. You got Brandon Cooks limited practice.
Yep.
So we don't know. Marshawn Nealand,
Yep.
the rookie, and like get this. I was at the draft in Detroit, and we're on as tipped off. We were like, all right, I'm sitting there going through my notes because I take pride in my draft prep. And Mark's like, well, who's the best available? I'm like, well, listen, dude, I got Marshawn Nealand. Not that we need necessarily edge, but if you're talking best possible player available, Marshawn Nealand. Well, lo and behold, we ended up picking him, and he is a dog. He's not necessarily a pass rusher. He's a run, stopper stud. So if he can play, that would be great. Hunter Lepke, he's a quiet leader on this team. He's kind of like the John Kuhn-esque type guy, plays fullback.
He catch it out there.
He protects Dak. I like the kid. Jordan Lewis, like you said, arguably our second best. He's been balling out. We signed him to a 2-year deal, so I'm glad we have him for another year. He could possibly play, but it seems like this team always leans on the side of caution. So we'll see how many people actually play. But Jake Ferguson is out, and it looks like Zach Martin is going to be out. So
yeah, I think him and Tyler Smith might.
Tyler Smith, I'm hoping can play, but yes, he did not practice.
He didn't practice today either.
No,
so
he did not.
The line may be banged up, but you may get Chuma Udoga back too.
Yeah, he stinks. I don't want.
I'm glad he stinks, but TJ Bass stinks worse. So. I don't know. I love the fact
I like TJ Bass. He had a rough game. But...
Yeah, he was awful on Monday. He came in and immediately gave up a sack and wasn't close. So I would love to see TJ Bass in there.
Well, you're gonna feast. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine next game. I'm really sad. I've been so busy lately that I didn't see you and LB's stream.
Yeah,
I was thinking about you, bro, because I
yeah.
know he probably he was probably going all. He was probably rubbing that shit in
Oh
one
yeah,
week.
of course he was, and rightfully so. I would have done the same thing had we
Oh,
won.
I
So
know you would
yeah,
have. That's
of
why I got to
course.
come prepared when I go on with you because you got your
Yeah,
shit in order.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
man, I better, I'm running, trying to get done work. I'm like, I got to get my act together. Louis
yeah,
going to be throwing shit at me. Everybody. Oh, I see a lot of my people in the chat. Thank you so
yeah,
much for quick notice. You guys are
yeah.
the best.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate y'all for coming and supporting this stream that is brought to you by BetUS. If you're looking for a book this season, BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get back up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year as long as you're active within a 6-month period. And this is for new users, and this is a big one here. Go to betus.com, use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% off a sign up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, 125% sign up bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. So, speaking of BetUS and the odds for this game, the Commanders are 10-point favorites. I've never seen a number that big in
Dude.
my life as a Commanders fan for any game, let alone the Cowboys. The last time we were more than a 3-point favorite against the Dallas Cowboys was back in 2007, a game that you did not need. You were already in the playoffs. We were trying to get in. We were hot that year. Sean Taylor was murdered. We were hot with Todd Collins. You didn't need the game, but you still played some of your starters. And we were able to win that game and cover. But we were 3.5-point favorites that game. That's the highest spread that we've had in terms of us being favored in this series. And it was 3.5 points. We are literally 10-point favorites.
What does
in this
that
game.
tell you?
It
What does
is
that tell you?
amazing. I can't believe this.
What does that tell you? That means I got 2 words for you. I'll tell you what that means. That means Cooper Rush.
Yes,
That's what that means.
That's what that
Because
means.
I'm sorry, people. I do not care. Louis, how bad must a Trey Lance be in practice not to
absolutely.
play him? How bad must he be?
Absolutely.
Now, I have seen him. I have seen him, and
Yeah.
he does not have a clue when it comes to reading defenses.
No.
Kyle Shanahan, flat brain Kyle Shanahan. He was right. He got a 4th round pick and jumped on it.
Yep.
I want them to play Trey Lance, but he does not have a chance behind this offensive line as it currently stands. You got Dorrance Armstrong coming out acting like this is like the Super Bowl. Did you watch the Thursday night game? You had Dalton Schultz, who stinks. I mean, he's average at best. Okay, Dallas offered you more than what you ended up getting. Yeah, Dalton Schultz, shut your mouth, dude. Just be quiet. Your Houston Texans team, I'm sorry, is disappointing to me. Okay, you went to the playoffs. Did they? I don't know, Louis. Did they win a playoff game last year? Didn't they win one?
Yeah, they beat the Cleveland Browns.
Right. Doesn't matter, right? A win's a win. You win. Now, in my mind, you go out and get all these pieces, as far as the Texans, and you are floundering, in my opinion. You beat a bad Dallas team, and you got Joe Mixon, who I had on both of my fantasy teams. So thank you, Joe, for that.
That was a good pick by you.
But outside of that, dude, okay, beating us. I'm sorry, Louis. Beating us right now is no big feat. Now, it is a divisional game. We are getting some pieces back. So, but the fact, and Dorrance, he was drafted as a Cowboy. I love Dorrance and I keep telling my faithful this. I tell them, I say, Dorrance Armstrong is a great rotational piece. He had 7 sacks with the Cowboys last year. He did well. That being said, the Commanders overpaid, but the Commanders were loaded. They're still loaded. They had to get to the cap floor and a little bit above. And where the Commanders sit with the cap money for next year? 43 million, something like that.
Yeah, I think
they are
we got the second
loaded.
most money. Yeah.
So, darn, slow down a little bit, bro.
I think he feels a type of way because I don't think he wanted to leave, and he knew he wasn't going to get the money he wanted in Dallas. And
It's called a salary cap,
yeah,
bro.
absolutely, he
You
understands the
can't keep
business of it, but it
everybody.
doesn't make it any
Jerry
less,
got shit on
right?
Louis last year for saying last year was his all in.
Mhm.
If you look at the Dallas defense last year, they should have made it farther in the playoffs. That was an
Absolutely,
absolute joke because they were stacked. They were too deep at every position.
that's right.
That's where we talk about all in. People want to see the flash name. Now, all in means if everybody's going to have injuries, and I warn my Eagle fans. I see a lot of them in here. Linda, how are you, sweetie? You know, shit happens, man, and I don't know what to tell you. Like I always tell people, I have a Chris Dooley. I have a bunch of Commander fans that are subscribed to my channel that
Mhm.
support me, and I really appreciate it. And I tell them, don't always wait. I said Dak was 10-1 as a rookie, and he was on fire, but don't always wait to try and win. If you can win, go win. Don't look at next year. This is a salary cap era. Things change. So, I was hoping you would beat the Eagles, all due respect, just to kind of shut up where I live here.
Yeah,
I'm 30 minutes from AC, 30 minutes from Philly. I'm right
yeah,
there. I'm surrounded by Eagle fans,
yeah.
and they want to see nothing more than my misery, which is cool. Thanks. It helps the channel, believe it or
Yeah.
not. So, I would just say, go get it, bro. Go get it. I would hope that you guys don't win a division for your sake, because that's the death knell. You go ahead and win a division, you ain't winning it next year. Sorry, you're not. Not
Somebody's got to break that, man. I want to be the
it'll be
team to go ahead and
broken,
do it.
but
Yeah,
not by this team.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm meaning the Eagles.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
they need it.
yeah,
That's my opinion, and I'm
yeah,
going to stay on it.
yeah.
So
That one sucked, but they're not out of the woods yet. They still got to play
I
Baltimore. They
think your
still got to play
schedule's
Pittsburgh.
slightly better than theirs.
Of
So
course, it is. We only
you
played
know.
them, and the Falcons are the only two teams with winning records left on our schedule. So we just got to take care of business. But
If
you know,
Darn shuts his mouth,
well,
maybe
look,
I'll be
I'm
rooting
gonna
for
tell
you
you
guys.
what, Dorrance he's definitely in his feelings. I can tell you that much. Most of the ex-Cowboys, kind of kept it low profile this week. Hey, it's just another game. So yada yada yada. Same thing with the coaching staff. They were all pretty good about the matchup, and a lot of good relationships on that side, et cetera, et cetera. Dorrance could definitely, you could tell it was some sour grapes. He was not happy that
But
you know
you can't keep them. I wish you
yeah,
could
yeah,
talk
right.
to them.
And
Say,
you're
darn,
right.
like you're making a lot of
He
money.
knows it's a business, but at the end of the day, that doesn't change the fact that the team that drafted me
You could
didn't
be in the
re-sign me.
shit show
So
that is the Cowboys this year, darn. You weren't going to be the difference,
yeah,
brother. I'm sorry, but you
yeah.
weren't. We
So
had
he was. It was just. It's funny hearing someone actively talk about the opposition, and he kept it mild, but you could tell that
yes.
he was like, I'm following
Lou
them, I'm
Branch.
watching them, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Lou
yeah.
Branch. Didn't you say earlier that you hoped that we would win the division? I did because of Dorrance. I still do right now because Dorrance Armstrong pissed me off as Dalton Schultz coming out. Listen, I'd never been. I over the years, Lou. I hear you, brother.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is Eagles imposed their will in the fourth quarter of that game the other day. If
Mhm.
all things are the same, nothing's going to change. Nobody. It's going to take a team to really step up to stop that running game by the Eagles. So yes, you're right, Lou. I'm just saying I was rooting for the Commanders, but this is game week. I mean, everything's aside. This is game week, and I want to beat them, even though it's probably to our detriment. So yes, I did say that.
So let's stay there. So we got y'all this week. I've talked about you guys getting a little bit healthier in some areas, and then maybe the offensive line not so
Yeah.
much. But what do you think is going to happen in this particular game?
Here, I'll tell you, this is the
Yeah, yeah,
easiest
good. Go
way to
ahead, go
do
to
it.
the mailbox.
I'm going to my mailbox.
Go
My
to
other
the mailbox.
camera's not working right now, so you would
Yeah,
see all the bells and whistles. But
yeah.
this is how I have the game. The game is Commanders. I don't know what you have it. It's anywhere from 10.5 to 11
Yeah.
and 45. I got the Commandos 30 and the Cowboys 13. 30-13 as a final. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I would take that.
Unfortunately.
I would take that in a
I
heartbeat.
think
That's the
it
game.
may be like slightly closer. Louis, we can't score points, man.
Yeah,
We
that's the
cannot
big thing.
score any
That's the big thing.
points.
That's right.
So it may be close at halftime. Dallas normally is close at halftime, but we are literally last in the league in third quarter scoring. We just give up way too much and we don't score. So I think the home field is going to be a home field for one time, for the first time in a long
Yeah, in a
time
long
against
time.
the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I've been to
I'm
the
hoping
last
that's the case.
few and it's been nice, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. I like that score. I think
Something like
the
that.
biggest thing that I'm looking at is the trenches. You guys struggle to stop the run. You guys are one of the worst. So you're 31st in rush defense.
Mm-hmm.
You give up over 150 yards a game, 151. You are 31st in running the football, right? You rush for like a little bit over 80 yards a game. So you struggle in the trenches in both of those key areas. And then you're like minus 11 in the turnover differential. So these are things that I want us to take advantage of. Cooper Rush is not a mobile quarterback by any imagination, and so I think you can get to him. Hopefully, he's turned it over quite a bit since
Yes,
taking
he
over,
has.
and I'm hoping that trend continues on Sunday. Stopping the run is key to put him in drop back situations where he's got to throw the football. I would say this is something that I've been adamant about. I would not kick the ball because we are a team that forces teams to return kickoffs. We take
Please
pride in
kick
that.
to us.
I would if I know them like I think I know them, they're gonna kick to Cavante Turpin and make him return the ball.
Ooh,
I
that's
would
that's a mistake.
that is a big mistake. I would
Yeah.
just kick it out of the back of the end zone in this game and say, "Hey, you guys get it at the 30 and see what you can do." Right? That's one of the few guys that can change the game in an instant. And I don't want to give any scoring opportunities to you that you didn't earn, other than him just taking off and running. This dude's dangerous. I wouldn't kick to him, but outside of that, if we play our game, if we take care of the football, this is the first time we've had real practice. Like since the injury, Jaden had sustained. Not only was he injured, the offensive line was banged up. Brian Robinson Jr. was banged up. We hadn't had an opportunity to go good against good in practice, go full speed in practice since like week 7. So this is the first time we've been able to do that. They feel really good about the repetition that they're getting this week. And we're hoping to get back to the basics, back to the fundamentals, seeing this offense thrive again, the run game come back to life. Jaden as a runner, I think, is something that
Yeah, we
we'll
don't
be
stop.
looking to
Yeah,
do.
we don't even guard that. So
Yeah.
yes, we don't
I think
even
that's something that we
acknowledge that.
definitely need to take advantage of. We got to know where 13 is at all times, and
Mhm.
also 11. Those two guys are game wreckers. And so if we can keep tabs on them, make sure that we don't allow them to impose their will on the game, we got a chance to really do damage. I think Parsons is going to get, as long as he lines up on the edge, he's going to get the TJ Watt treatment from 2 weeks ago, where we tripped him on pretty much every single play. And I think they're going to do that. He's going to have to move around. He's going to have to mug the A
Yeah,
gap. They're going to have
smart
to move
teams
him
do
around.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
smart teams do that.
Yeah.
Us, no, we leave our rookie left tackle or struggling right tackle one-on-one with a Pro Bowler, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched that on Monday. That was
Yep.
crazy
Yep.
to watch Terrence Steele just get his ass whooped
Unbelievable.
repeatedly.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and
Yep.
them not help him at all. That was crazy.
Not at all. And then they're like, "Well, yeah, you suck." No, do your job.
Yeah.
It's up to Mike McCarthy to coach this team up, Louie. And listen, Mike McCarthy's always had, whether it's fair or not, he's not a guy who's in the building. He ain't no Jamie Johnson spending 18 hours in the building. He's I'm going to delegate to my assistant coaches, and I'm going to go home with the family. Well, listen, man, this is not good. He needs to give up play calling. He needs to give up play calling to Brian Schottenheimer. Why? Because looks like he's calling plays off a Cheesecake Factory menu. He has no idea. And I like Cheesecake Factory. I know. But I don't think he's not doing nothing, building off of nothing. His route tree is horrendous. I don't know what's going on. It's very shocking to me. This year's numbing. Outside of the injuries, that's aside. Everybody has injuries, people. They do. And that's, but it's very frustrating right now to watch this man call plays. It's just, I don't know why you would never, I would always want to defer. Now, I'm sorry. I want to get that, possession at the half and, get the ball in the third quarter. But he sometimes wants to do the opposite. And it's just like bites us in the, every time. And I'm ready to move on, man. I'm ready to move on. But anyway, get back to your thought. Tell me, I want to know from you before we get out of here, what's your honest thought on the Cowboys? I mean, because I get a lot of crap from a lot of my Eagle fans that are in here now, just watching my every word, saying, well, you said this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, what do you think about the injuries? What do you think about us going forward? Everybody could say whatever they want about Dak Prescott, but his record in the NFC East is very, very good. So, what's your thought about us? Just this
So I
game and then
think
going forward in the short term. Short term.
I think that this was a surprising outcome. I thought that there was a chance this season could be disappointing for you, but not the way that it's turned, right?
Mm,
I was when I said disappointed, I was thinking 9-8, right? I wasn't thinking, 4-13, 5-12, which is where this season looks like it could be heading. I was thinking like 9-8. That would be disappointing because Jerry was all in. This has been a 12-5 team 3 years in a row. So I was thinking 9-8, maybe worst case scenario. But I think what the Cowboys have been is a team that has started with the trenches, and it hasn't been good. Obviously, Zach Martin's getting older. Um, the left tackle with Guyton, he's young. I don't want to, kill him. He's a rookie, but he hasn't been all that great this season. Cooper Beebe looks like a find at center. Um, and Smith is really good at guard, but Terrence Steele continues to struggle at right
he
tackle. So
does.
you really got to fortify that offensive line because Dak doesn't move since that ankle injury where he broke
It's
his
not.
ankle.
Yeah,
He's not
exactly.
the
He's
same guy
reluctant. Yep.
mobily, right?
Yep.
So you got to find a way to protect him better because he can't move. And any pressure, he's going to turn the ball over. He's going to force it. So you got to protect him better. You have to get more weapons. CeeDee Lamb is really the only receiver that you have that scares anyone. I don't understand why you don't use Kavontae Turpin more. Like I would try to get this
Well,
ball,
yeah,
man,
it's
the
funny you
ball.
say that because I was at the game against the Eagles, and they just this all falls back on the offensive coordinator / coach where he's open.
Yeah.
He's definitely open. And why wouldn't you run the route that he ran last week? It was wide open. It happens a lot,
Mhm.
Louis, and yet we're trying to force it, the ball into you know Jalen
Flournoy and all these
Jalen
other guys.
Brooks and all
Yeah.
these guys that
Yeah.
haven't proven it. Where Turpin, you can say what you want. He's a game breaker. He's, I don't know how long he's signed for, honestly, but I like the kid, and I've been saying it all year. Send him on a damn 9 route. Now he's not good at going up and getting the ball contested. He's a short guy, but yeah, I agree with you. I definitely
Yeah.
agree with that. Get the ball in this kid's hands. He's going to make the Pro Bowl yet again. I believe he leads the NFL in return yards.
Yeah.
So it's not a rocket science, people. Get the ball into your playmakers' hands. That's how you win the game.
I think I think largely what will influence how I feel is what you do this offseason. Who you hire, how you go about the process. I'm intrigued by what you dropped, that gem you dropped on our
Yeah,
melon
so
about John Lynch.
just hold on to that, and
Yeah,
maybe
that's going
throw
to
me
be
a bone if
interesting.
something happens.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's kind of where I sit with that. Dak, we know what he is as a player. He's capable of going, taking his team to 11, 12, 13 wins, but can he get it done in the playoffs? But there needs to be some sort of recalibration, and it starts
Yeah.
with how the offseason goes. And that'll kind of, because you're not void of talent. This team still has talent. You just have to add to the talent that you have. And so we'll see what they
Listen,
do
Eagle
there.
fans, listen what the man is saying. He knows what he's talking about. Don't
So
just assume that we're going to be, a 5-1 team next year.
yeah.
Don't assume that.
Yeah, no, I don't see that. But this offseason is going to go a long way in determining how people feel
Now,
about Dallas moving forward.
yeah, no, you're talking about the offseason. I would say this first and foremost: you need to get a coach, a coach in here ASAP. If you're doing the GM thing, like I have a weird feeling that that's what's going to happen based on seeing John Lynch as a star, and then immediately hearing that Steve Young is next in line to take over for the 49ers. I'm putting all these pieces together. I'm like, oh wow, that's what he was doing there. But yeah, maybe he was there for a totally anonymous reason, and I'm a fool, but I don't think so. But yeah, we need to get a coach in here ASAP. Dallas likes to wait and wait and wait. I don't want to wait, people. Get him in, because like I'm hearing also from a few of my sources from Frisco, Louis, that they're going to be more active in free agency this year. They're going to flip Dak switch. They're going to flip CD switch. They're going to make a couple cuts post June. They're going to have upwards of $100 to $125 million in cap space. So I'm hearing that they're going to make an offensive lineman signing. kind of like on the Flozell Adams back in the day type of deal, who was a good, or like a Kyle Kozar, somebody like a veteran guy who can come in. That way, you're not relying on rookies, which is always a bad recipe. I don't care who you are. Most positions require a couple of years
Right.
of, unless you're a running back, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a corner. But that being said, they have to hit it right after the offseason. So, like you said, we're going to know right away how serious they are about winning, how fast they move on the coach or a GM, and then what free agents they bring in before the draft. And you know that they have a lot of picks in the draft. So I'm excited for that part of it, but we still got a season to play. And I would like to beat Washington. I would like to come in and listen, make no mistake, we're not winning more than 7 games this year. That would be like the high number. I'm figuring 5 or 6 at this point. Give me a top 10 pick and let's roll. So that's where I stand. I think this is going to be a rough day for the Cowboys for a lot of reasons. And that's frustrating, but it's part of the process, people. Cowboys fans, stay strong. Definitely stay strong.
I love it. Joaquin Williams, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Joaquin writes, bro, Dallas is a grade A steer cheeks at best.
Steer cheeks. I like it.
Joaquin Williams, double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I got the Commanders 63, Dallas 12, all field goals. Look, I would love to score 63 points.
The 12 would be nice. I think that's probably close, but
right. So I think you're not too far off score wise. I've got it 34-13.
Okay, so we were right on the same line.
Yeah, we're right in that same neighborhood. I hope that the key is going to be try to put you guys out of your misery early. The longer you hang in, the more confidence you gain. Exactly, it could become a tougher game than we want it to be.
Right.
If we get rid of you early, you're at the point of your season now where guys will start to go, here we go again, and let go of the rope. So I hope it, because like you were in that game against the Texans, even though you were there for a lot of the game. So I'm trying to avoid that. Like I really would like to take you guys out of this thing early, if at all possible. So that's going to do it for us, man. I really appreciate you coming on with me as always, GTB, man. You're the best. And we're going to probably run you back on the Super Friends channel
man.
a little bit later on down the road. Oh, yeah, man. We got to bring you back because you're awesome. And I know you're going to give us, the reels on the Dallas Cowboys. A big shout out to BetUS once again for sponsoring this stream. Again, head over to BetUS.com. Use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% sign up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. For myself, Louie T, and my guy Game Time Bryan, we are out. Thank you for joining us. Cowboys Commanders Sunday 1:00 at Northwest Stadium should be a lot of fun. Until next time, you guys take care of yourselves. Be good. Peace.
Ready? Go ahead. Dallas sucks! No. We can't have that. Thanks, guys. So, what we got going on here? So, who you taking? Who you guys taking? Jaden Daniels. That's who you should take. Yeah. But you don't want to play there. Get together. That's it. Get out of the way here.